Hey there everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In case you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Marissa and I am a pharmacist and health coach. And up to this point, I have made a couple videos here on YouTube. I've done some recipe videos, what I eat in a day, which I absolutely love. But I thought I would switch things up a little bit and actually do more of like a sit down video and actually talk about a really fun topic that I really enjoy and love and help people with, and that is digestion and how to have better digestion and improving gut health overall. So this video is actually part 1 of a part 3 series. I will have 2 other videos coming after this one here. And this series is to just understand the basics of gut health. This video by no means is fully comprehensive. I just want to bring out the basics of digestion so that we can kind of have a more firm sense of what it is, how it functions, and how we can go from here to improve our gut health and why the factors that affect gut health are what they are. So before I go ahead and get started, I just wanted to say that I actually made a whole blog post on this particular video and subject matter, and the link will be in the description below, so you can go ahead and check it out. I made a graphic showing the process of digestion so that you can kind of follow along and see the different organs involved and the flow and the process that digestion of our food will take. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So the overall function of digestion that I want you to constantly think of is that we have our food, right? A plate of food here, whatever you eat, and we eat that food in order to get nutrients into our body. In order to do that, we have to be able to absorb them. And in order to absorb those nutrients, they have to be in their what we call simplistic form. So a good example of this is what we refer to as simple carbohydrates versus complex carbohydrates. So that, and also another word for that would be starches. With those starches or complex carbohydrates, what happens is that you have these what we refer to as monosaccharides, but very like the simplest form of sugar that are able to be absorbed. And if we have that, they can be linked to other simple sugar molecules, and when they're linked together, it's actually too large in order for your body to absorb it. So that means you're not going to be able to intake all that sugar that you had. So what happens with digestion is that you are breaking those down either mechanically or chemically into their simplest form so that your body can intake it and utilize those nutrients. The same process happens with proteins, with fats, in a little different manner, but like the same idea. So there are 2 different types of digestion. One is mechanical, which is like chewing, your stomach churning, which is the result of smooth muscle contractions. And then the other is chemical digestion, and that is going to be through digestive enzymes that your body secretes and makes, as well as acid, hydrochloric acid, that your stomach produces and secretes. So your digestion process actually begins in your mouth, then goes into the esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, until you excrete your waste. So what happens is that within your mouth, once you take a bite of food, you actually will start chewing it. That's the mechanical digestion that first happens. Then you have glands that are producing saliva. Within the saliva, there's a couple different components, but the main thing to highlight with the chemical digestion is that your body creates what's called salivary amylase. Amylase is a enzyme that actually starts the process of carbohydrate or sugar, carbs, digestion. So it'll help start breaking down starches so that we can go ahead and absorb all the nutrients. So once you are done chewing your food in your mouth, the salivary amylase has kind of done its thing to start breaking down some of those starches. What happens is that you will swallow that and it will go down into your esophagus. Your esophagus is like a big muscular tube that kind of connects your mouth and the back portion of your mouth to your stomach. The most important thing that you need to understand with the esophagus is that at the lower part of the esophagus, right, mouth here, tube, at the end of the esophagus, we have what we call the LES, lower esophageal sphincter. Think of it like a door. Let's think of it like a door. The door that separates the food coming from your mouth and in your esophagus from your stomach, or preventing stuff in your stomach from going back into your esophagus. So what happens is that usually if there is no food present, that sphincter will remain closed, and if there is food present, it will open and then it will close again. so that nothing from the stomach comes back and regurgitates. What happens then? The food gets into your stomach. The stomach has 4 different regions in it, and what happens is that there is a lot of smooth muscle contraction there that we have no control over, by the way. It's part of the nervous system, which we will get into in a later point too. And what happens is your stomach starts to churn. That smooth muscle contraction starts occurring. It will start churning and breaking up that food into, again, smaller pieces, larger surface area, that sort of thing. Start breaking it down, okay? And then your body also has what we call gastric glands that are going to start producing acid. So the acid that your stomach produces is called hydrochloric acid, or HCl. And if you remember back to chemistry, that is actually one of the 6 strong acids. So it is a very acidic environment, and it's all because of that acid. That acid denatures proteins, starts breaking things down. Again, we're just further breaking down those complex forms of the 3 macronutrients in order to be able to absorb them later on, which actually happens mostly within your small intestine. Along with stomach acid being created, we have mucus being secreted, and that actually protects the lining of the stomach. The acid is so strong that if that mucus is not there, then it can actually harm the stomach lining. The next thing that happens is we have something called intrinsic factor being created at this point that helps significantly in the absorption of vitamin B12, which is a water-soluble vitamin, which is really helpful for helping support our energy levels. There are hormones secreted at this point called gastrin that just helps regulate all this gastric activity. So the food contents that are in your stomach at this point, after all this digestion has happened, both mechanical and chemical, this food is now referred to as chyme, which is CHYME. Chyme then travels from your stomach, passes through another sphincter, gets into the small intestine, which has 3 different regions. Those 3 different regions of the small intestine, we have the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. The small intestine, there's a lot that happens at this point, and a lot of absorption of these nutrients that we have spent so much time at this point breaking into smaller pieces occurs here. So once the presence of food is detected in your intestinal cells, what happens is that they actually start secreting a couple different things. So one, we have digestive enzymes again, and then we have mucus, and then we also have hormones. The hormones that are secreted at this time by the intestinal cells are so important. So the first one is called secretin, and the second one is called cholecystokinin, which is a huge word, and I'll leave it spelled right here. These hormones actually start stimulating the presence and participation from the accessory organs to digestion. So there are 3 of those, and those are the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. So the secretin actually stimulates your pancreas to start secreting what we call bicarbonate ion solution, which just basically means that it's a very basic solution, more basic than the stomach contents at this point. So if you remember back in the stomach, we had all that hydrochloric acid working to chemically digest the food, kill off bad bacteria, and that stomach contents now goes into the small intestine. Now, we are going to have a lot of digestive enzymes coming in at this point to further break down our food so that we can properly absorb those nutrients. But those digestive enzymes will actually be degraded and denatured by the acidic environment that the stomach has created. So what happens is that with your pancreas secreting a more basic solution, which helps swing the acidic environment of the chyme into more of a basic one, so that we can ensure that the digestive enzymes that are being created and secreted again from the pancreas are not going to be denatured or degraded, and they will actually be able to perform their function, which is to further break down our macronutrients into their simplistic form so that we can absorb them properly. The digestive enzymes involved, we have again for carbs, proteins, and fats. The carbohydrate one is called amylase, which I briefly mentioned before, and the second one is called trypsin or trypsinogen, and that is for the proteins, and then the last one is called lipase, and that is for the fats. This step right here is also regulated by your nervous system, and we will talk about that in a later video. And then cholecystokinin, which is the other hormone that is secreted by the intestinal cells with the presence of the chyme coming into the small intestine, and that actually stimulates the gallbladder to start releasing bile and the pancreas to start secreting digestive enzymes that will enter into the duodenum, which is the beginning portions of the small intestine. The bile is composed of water, bile salts, bile pigments, and cholesterol. The bile salts facilitate the digestion and absorption of fats and fat-soluble vitamins, while the bile pigments and cholesterol are excreted as waste from your body. So from the small intestine, the chyme now enters into the large intestine. The components of chyme at this point is basically anything that was not digested or absorbed, which basically is water, electrolytes, and bacteria. And the two main things that your large intestine is mainly responsible for is fluid and electrolyte balance in your body, and also just eliminating any type of waste product. So anything that does not get absorbed at this point will be excreted from your body. So there you have it. That is the basics of digestion, the organs that are involved, and their major functions. I hope that this video kind of brings a greater understanding of this particular system of your body and a great foundation that we will be building on top of. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those there too. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And if this is a subject matter that you really enjoy learning about, want to get more into your gut health, how to improve it, better digestion, all that good stuff, please go ahead. I would absolutely love it if you could subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and tell me that you liked it. And follow me on my Instagram. I'll leave the handle right here at Simply Health with Marissa. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video, which is part 2 of our Understanding Gut Health series. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.